You're listening to Girl, Don't Trip. Kick back with us weekly as we have soulful conversations about balancing career, relationships, and how to stay grounded through life's wild transitions.
Because we could all use a little support from our sister circle. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Girl Don't Trip Radio.
Let's do this. Hello and welcome back to Girl Don't Trip with Bianca and Gabby.
Hello. It's us.
Us again. Thank you for tuning in again with us. If you're new, welcome.
Hello. We're a good time.
Yes, we are a good time. So, how was your week, Gabby?
Not bad. I was actually sick all week.
Oh, that's the worst. Was it allergies or like
no, like
flu?
actual sick.
Oh no.
So I probably sound a little weird, but other than that, just the normal weekly grind situation. How are you?
I'm good. I really love the feedback that we got from our listeners from our last episode. It was really great to see everyone tune into that and relate to that episode. So thank you guys.
I've been diving into Janae's book.
Yeah.
And it's just been so nice to be able to get some bits and pieces before I go to bed or if I have a free moment in my day. And it's just so relatable.
Love the book.
Yeah.
She did an incredible job with it. Incredible.
So amazing. Gifted and talented. But what's new with you? Have you been listening to any new music or watching anything interesting?
I've been tuning into a lot of podcasts lately.
Yeah.
And more for educating myself with what we're doing and kind of also just being able to network a little bit more of the women that are out there doing stuff and getting more knowledgeable in that field, I guess. But in that space, I've also been journaling at the same time, and I've noticed such a difference from when we started the podcast.
In what you're journaling?
In my journal entries to now, and I feel great. Life has been really good. It's crazy. In the beginning of the year, I was mid-March, I was not in the best place in my life. Yeah, this was a really rough year for me, and maybe one day I'll open up about it on an episode, so stay tuned for that. But 2019 has been the worst and the best year of my life. It's been a great awakening experience.
Awakening is a good word, I think.
Of course.
I've experienced many awakening moments this year, for real. But honestly, I wouldn't trade this year.
Oh, I wouldn't at all. Some of the worst things that I've experienced, however, it has made me really get into this space of loving myself and this true identity of who I am, I think. A lot of my confidence came from what I did, not who I am.
Yeah.
And I realized that being here and being in a city that I don't know anyone and putting myself in these uncomfortable situations.
I had to be isolated while doing new things.
So it's definitely put me in a place where I'm very grateful. Yeah. Grateful for the pain because it's got me very far. So thank you, Lord. I've learned a lot from this experience. But this week was really good. I'm super excited for our guest that's coming up this week. Oh my gosh. Everything. We had a really great experience talking to our guests, so I guess we should name who we're speaking to.
So this week we had the pleasure and privilege. It was an absolute privilege to speak to Lex Nicole, __ Nicole as she is on IG. Who is a photographer,
a stylist, creative director. She's doing everything. But the talent, oh my goodness, you need to keep a lookout for her because she is doing things, and she is so well connected in Seattle that just by following her work, you're going to find a lot more creatives just from her page alone.
She is definitely someone that opens up, you know, her creativity and collaborates with a lot of people. But her work is special. Like,
so special.
It's
like
so special. And you can tell
I can't even explain how well she's so in tune with herself that it shows through her work.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you're just like looking at her stuff and you're like, how are you not bigger than you already are? Because you're like insanely talented. Like,
she's definitely on her way 1,000%. But what is so inspiring to me is when people really take their craft and their talents and their gifts seriously and they like study it.
Yes.
That to me is like, because you can be, you know, things can come to you easily. You can be able to like come up with these brilliant ideas or whatever, but I just really respect people that can like speak to the context behind what they're creating, that can like speak to the inspiration and where they pulled their inspiration from and all of those things. And like Lex is one of those artists that can do that because she studies and it shows.
And when we say study, y'all, like this girl did not go do a master's in photography or something. Like she literally is self-taught, like completely self-taught, and it's like it blows your mind because if she can do it, you can do it too. So if you have a calling for this and you're itching to pursue something in the creative field or anything that you feel like, oh, I need to go to school for this, but I can't afford school or school's not for me, you need to listen to this episode because she will give you that inspiration for sure.
Absolutely. And that I'm just excited for people to listen to this episode because she really dives into that whole process, and it's so inspiring to have someone that also has struggles but is deciding to use her pain and use her struggles to be better and to create out of that, and then also to be open and vulnerable with like that experience,
of
with
course.
Like sharing all of it, the pain, the good, the bad, whatever, because that's important. And that's how you connect and resonate and you can speak to people.
So we had a very like raw, unfiltered conversation with her for sure.
It was really good.
It was really good. So we hope you guys enjoy this episode as much as we did. So thank you, Lex, for sitting down with us.
Thank you.
We love
so
you, girl.
Much.
Keep doing what you're doing. You're really good at it. So here you go, guys. Enjoy.
Bye.
All right, guys. Welcome back to Girl Don't Trip. Today's a fun conversation.
Oh, yeah.
We got Lex in the house.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Thank you so much for being here.
Of course. I love you guys. Just like already. Yeah,
already
like,
you love us?
That's the phone conversation we had with them. I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Love them.
That was really dope.
That was really dope. Yeah.
After we're like, oh god.
We're like, she's so dope. Like, we need to chill with her.
Thank you for sure, yes. Anytime.
I love it.
Yeah.
So we always ask basically background so we can just get some context going into this conversation. So who is Lex? Where are you from? And tell us about yourself.
For sure. Well, I'm from this little city outside of St. Louis, Missouri called Belleville, and I just grew up there my whole life. My dad was was in the law enforcement. My mom was very corporate, so I came from very strict background, and don't do this and things like that. But I'm the free spirit in the family, so like I just drift. When they told me to go left, I go right. So it just.
What's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. I'm like, okay. It's either a Leo or a Virgo, but my mother's a Virgo, and my dad's a Cancer, so my mom's like, Virgos have been rumored to be emotionally dead inside, and then Cancers are very emotional. So it's like, it's crazy going through that in my household. My mom's just like, no emotion. Show no emotion. Don't be. And it's not really a bad thing. She was just like, don't let them ever see you cry, sweat, anything like that. And my dad's like, no, you have vulnerability.
Yes,
like,
you let it out, girl.
Yeah,
you need to let it out, girl. I can't.
I love that, and I love the dynamic switch in that like gender roles and that, you know, and having your dad be the nurturing.
Oh yes,
like,
very.
I love that. That's dope. Bianca, aren't you like a Virgo rising?
Rising.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bianca's a Virgo rising, and I'm a Cancer moon. So we like.
Ooh, yes.
It's in there.
It's in there.
Yes.
We get
Virgos are just. I love Virgos. Like Beyonce Virgo.
Yeah.
Virgo. You know. But you know, I love like just the drive Virgos have really, because my mother has a lot of drive, and that's kind of like how like she built me to be. So it's just kind of like, oh, this Virgo, you know. And Leo thing, but like Leos are very, you know, emotional and things. She'd just be like, "Oh, your emotions, get away from me," you know, whatever. But my dad's like, "You can talk to me, like, you know, it's okay. Like, let's cry together. It's great." So it was just my upbringing was something. It was great. I mean, it wasn't ever like traumatizing, but I just, you know, seeing those now, hindsight being 2020, seeing my mom and my dad, and just kind of like, oh well. You know, and seeing myself, I'm like, oh, well,
that's where I get
sense.
from.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
It adds up.
Yeah.
Did you have siblings?
Yes, I have 2 sisters. So I have a 23-year-old sister. Her name's Olivia. Hey, girl.
Hey, Olivia.
Yeah, for sure. She's a registered nurse. She's a NICU nurse, and she's literally the smartest person I've ever met in my life. Like, she's so smart, it's crazy. Could never go through nursing school. I say that to her every single time on the phone, like, girl, I could never do that.
Yeah, my sister's a nurse as well, and God bless her. It's her birthday today. Happy birthday, Sarah.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
Yeah, nurses, God bless them. Because that job, takes a lot of patience.
A lot. And
a lot of patience.
Exactly. And then I have she'll be 10 this month, but my sister, she's 9, her name's Ava, and she's literally, yeah, we call her the hybrid because she does everything. Like,
I bet.
She's like creative, like, you know, me, she do all the arts and stuff, and then she's an athlete, and then on the side, she's like super smart, like my other sister, and it's just like, you know, she's great though. I think
all kids born nowadays are like that.
Super smart.
Yeah.
And so blessed to have the ability to be creative especially with social media now, and be book smart at the same time. Because I remember growing up, it was like you're either or. You couldn't do both.
Exactly.
So
it's awesome. Definitely dope that our society is starting to value the two and how important both are.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. My sister is just she's like, I mean, and she's so well spoken. She knows herself. She's very self-aware. Like a lot of her teachers, like my mom is telling me, a lot of her teachers, like, she's so sure of herself. It's insane. And
at that age to be so sure of yourself.
And you can tell on the phone. She's like, yeah, I just went, you know, over my friend's house, and you know, she said something I did not like, and I told her, and I was just like,
you go, girl.
I had that 2 years ago. Like, oh my god, like, you know, like at 20, you know, at 26, I'm like,
self-worth,
I love
fully
it.
intact. I love that
because my mother practices that with her a lot. Like, she has the natural hair, never, you know. My mom put relaxer on my hair, Mom.
It was a different time.
It was a different time.
You know, it was the 90s. So, you know, she doesn't put relaxer on her at all. And so, like, you know, she had like kids kind of touching her hair, and, you know, she would tell them like, no,
don't do that.
Do not touch my hair. My mother said you're not supposed to be touching my hair. So she's very, very, very sure of herself. Like, and I think that goes along with her being raised by my grandmother and my mom, and my dad being, you know, very emotionally intelligent. Like, with all those backgrounds, she just, you know.
What's that dynamic like, having such a huge like age gap, and now you and your older like your other sister, like,
when my mother announced she was pregnant when I was 18, I was actually really upset.
Oh, were you?
What? Like, because I was at the time, like, her age, I was like, you're too old. Like, what are you talking about?
This doesn't happen.
But now I'm like, I'm probably going to have a baby at like 36. Like, because I just right now, my life is super fast. So, you know, whatever. But like, I was just like, girl, like, what is this? But my other sister, Olivia, she was very excited. Like, oh my God. Like, she was, very elated.
How old was she at the time?
Oh, she was 13, 14.
Interesting. You would think that's because that's a tricky.
Yeah, that would be the age you would
like, like, no, but my sister was in love with it. Like, yeah, it was crazy. But they're like this, like very, very close because I live so far away.
Right.
Like, I'm not as close with Ava, but Ava, like, we still love each other when we go home. Like, it's never an emotional detachment. Like, she's always wanted to be, like, she's attached to my hip when I go home.
Oh,
like,
that's
she's
so
always,
sweet.
like, So it's great. She's like that with my other sister too. Like, whoever's around, she's like, hey, hey, what you doing?
So are you the only one that's out here out of your family?
Yes.
How has that been?
You know, it's been, it's been like a little bit hard. Like I've had a lot of like homesickness lately, but it's just because my mom has such good advice, like, you know, and my dad has such good advice, and I miss like sitting down and like looking at them and being like, oh my god, like, you know, whatever. But like, I love the independence I have, and I love the space that I have to do what I need to do and create and things like that. So it is like a catch-22, kind of, you know, 50-50, but at the same time, I know what my purpose is here, and so that's why I need to stay here. But, you know, I do miss my family sometimes. I'm going out there this month. I'm so excited.
Dope. That's
for like
awesome.
About a week, and so I'll just be sitting
here. It's a good time, like a good amount of time.
I'm always, every time I visit home, it's for a long period of time, like a week and a half, a week, because I like want to like bask.
Yeah,
and, you know,
soak it all up.
Exactly. It's like a reset button.
How long have you been out here?
I think I'm shy of 7 years.
Oh wow. Okay.
I was in the military for 4 years, and so when I got out, I just at first I did not tell my parents. My parents found out actually. They didn't even. I didn't even tell them.
That you were in the military, or you were leaving? Okay.
I didn't tell them anything. Like I just was like, and so then they found out, and then like, you know, my sister texted me first, and she was like, yo, so mom and dad got something in the mail that your benefits are cut off and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, shoot, I forgot that they send it to your home of record.
Yeah.
You know? And so I didn't give them a home of record. I you know, just said I was going to stay here, but I didn't give them, you know, address to send anything else to. So I was just like,
it went to mom and dad.
Yeah. And so I was trying to think about the process of like letting them know, like, hey, I'm not in the military, without my mom just going immediately into like, you know, freak out work mode. And, like, I have to fly to you now. We have to get all your stuff, like all of that. I had to just
Virgo,
very Virgo setting it off. Like she's like, we have to get this organization.
Yeah.
But you know, when they found out, it was kind of like, ooh, wow.
Was that part of your plan, like the military, and was it more of like you didn't want to disappoint them?
Yeah, that's what that was. Like when I joined the military, I was like 19. Okay. And so like I was like, okay, like I just don't 19-20-ish. So I was just like, I just don't want to, you know, I wasn't, you know, the lingo of like college dropout. I dropped out of college. You know, I went away to college, and I was just, the freedom was like, ooh, yes. And so I just didn't do anything.
Did the most.
Yes. And it showed out in my grades. Yes. And so my parents were like, yeah, no more away college for you because that's too expensive. Like student loans. And so like, they were like, well, what are you going to do? Like, you're either going to get a job or go to community college and all that. And so I was like, okay, I'll try the job in community college.
Yeah.
And then it didn't work out for me. And so my parents were just like, well, we don't know what you want to do. And I had like 2 jobs at the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to work retail my whole entire life. So I literally was just like, I'll just join the military, whatever. Yeah. So I went into the recruiter's office, signed the paper, you know, did all the workout and stuff, and
Did you feel it while you were in the military? Like, I'm here, but I don't want to be here?
You know, I tend to adapt to every environment that I am led to. So, like, the military, I had to adapt really easily. And so I was like, okay, I have to adapt to this. Like, this is my life now, basically.
So you didn't have the time to dwell on
even think about anything. I was just like, I mean, go mode. I was go mode from the first day I hit boot camp to when I got out. So it was just kind of like, okay, you know. Yeah. I submerged myself into the military, and, you know, when I think about it now, I'm just like, I wouldn't make that decision, you know, if I knew what I knew now.
Right. Of course. Yeah.
And it's just like, and there's parts of, like, most of the military I just don't remember. Like, I don't know if I put it back, repressed it so much. Like, I don't remember really anything. Like, I remember.
Well, I'm sure having to, like, be head down, this is my life now, like, you can't really be present, you know? You have to just, whatever's coming at you, you're just taking it, and you can't process what's happening. So I'm sure that has a lot, you know, to do with, like, what your memory, you're not, like, present in those moments.
Absolutely.
At that time.
Exactly. And I really, like, I just, I was present, and it's just a routine. Like,
Yeah.
you get dressed, you get up at 5 a.m. You get dressed, you take what they call muster, but it's like attendance at 6 o'clock, and it's just a routine every day. So it's just like, and then now when I think about it now, I'm just like, dang, I should have joined. Like, what? Like, I kind of regret joining because of the, it brings you down a little bit. Like, it's like misery loves company, and I think the military, if you get into an environment where people are just so negative that you become negative yourself, and so you think that's a positive. So I left the military, and I was talking to a friend that was a civilian, never was in the military ever, and she told me, you sound really negative all the time. Like, you're so negative about everything. And I was just like, girl, what are you talking about? I'm the most positive person ever. And she was just like, no, everything I say, like, about anything or anything somebody else says, or you see whatever you see on TV, it's like you have a negative comment and you think it's funny or you think it's positive, it's not. And I was just like,
wow.
Okay.
And it's harder to hear from someone else because in your mind you want to feel like, no, I'm a positive person. What are you talking about? Yeah, exactly. Like, you're taking it too deep if you think I'm a negative person.
Right, exactly. And I had to do some really internal searching. Like, I had to, and go to therapy as well. Like, and that's when I started my therapy process. I was like, I gotta do it. Like, I gotta just go and, not be so negative about whatever. And so,
Do you think, were you this creative person going into the military? Like, did this stem back all the way, like, high school?
Yeah, all the way when I was like 8. I I sketched a line for Nike, like several lines, like a football line called touchdown, a basketball line called like alley oop. So like, this can be Nike's brand for basketball called alley oop or whatever. I was 8 and I was just sketching them out, and my mom was like,
"Do you still have them?"
No, I don't even know. Probably my mom probably does. Like,
research.
I'm like, but like, I hope she does. That'd be great. Like, to show. But I literally had this dream of working for Nike, like, since I was 8, like, and like creating and designing for Nike or any brand. Like, my dream was just to design anything for a brand, and I would like make little things, and like my grandma kind of taught me how to sew, but like I really didn't get into it because I was like, this is hard. Right. Because at the time I was like 11, so I was like, oh girl, I want to play outside.
Yeah. I ain't trying to learn how to sew right
now.
What
are you talking about? What is this like? So like my creative ventures, and I got into music a lot. So I was a singer at first, and that was my first creative love. Writing songs, writing poetry, writing everything, and then playing instruments as well was like another creative thing. Music was my first creative love, and I just like love composing and like writing down notes. And my dad, shout out to my dad, he literally the one he was the one who got me a guitar. One day, I literally was
out of the blue.
Like, wow.
No, because he loved India Arie. He loved Alicia Keys. He loved all these women who played instruments and sang.
And he's like, my daughter's gonna be like that.
Exactly. And he was like, I got you a guitar, and I was like, watching TV, like, what?
What are we gonna do with this?
I was like 14, and I was like, girl. I was like, listen.
No.
I like Harry Potter now. It's not even. It's not even on my mind. But I literally learned how to play the guitar, and the guy took the guitar back because I learned how to play it, and I kind of got bored of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you can have this back. Like, and my dad was like, oh my god, like, you were so good, like you were getting good at it, and I'm just like.
Were you self-taught? Did you taught yourself? So you're musically, like, your ears just like,
I self-taught piano too.
Wow.
Just like 5-6 years ago.
Girl, look at you. Oh my god, that's incredible.
Like, okay, like, whatever. And then I would like just study like a lot of like musical, like not even Alicia Keys, but a lot of classical musical people. And I was just like, okay. And so then I just grabbed like the tutorial on YouTube. And I just taught myself how to play the piano. Like, I would just like, because every time I feel some type of like depression coming on or negativity or a cloud, I'm like, I submerge myself into something creative so I can, release that through something that's not yelling on social media or going off or whatever else like that. So, and that's what I do with photography.
Is that something that you like learned through going to therapy, or was that something that you just naturally, innately like did? Like,
that's something I naturally did. Like even if I was like when I was a teenager, I would like submerge myself into something like that I loved, like designing clothes. And my big big, huge role model as a teenager still now is Pharrell. So
Yes.
Oh my God. I could talk about Pharrell all day.
That man does not age.
It does not age.
Oh my
and
God.
He is always constantly creating anything, like the Despicable Me thing to like,
he's so diverse with his creativity as well.
Exactly what I wanted to be, because I was like, oh, like I was designing clothes at 8, and now I'm doing music. And I'm like, oh,
yeah,
like,
on the wave.
I felt like me and him were on the same, and he was obviously way bigger than me, still way bigger than me now. Like, obviously he was big, but I was like, I felt like, oh my God, like, I found somebody that I can relate to in the celebrity form, and like his music too with NERD, like, and I was a skateboarder, so like I was like, yes.
Oh,
like,
that's so dope.
I skate now to this day.
Oh, really? That's so
my
dope.
Sneakers are always so. I like dope sneakers, but they're always so dirty, and people get so mad at me, and I'm like, oh, I'm skating, whatever. Like, it's okay. But like, Pharrell has been like somebody that I've always looked up to, and he was just like not even father figure, just like as like uncle kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it was Kanye West. I don't even want to.
I
know that's.
I don't know about that.
Very heartbreaking, because that was him and Pharrell were the top two people that I was like.
Because they didn't limit themselves. They didn't put themselves in boxes. Exactly. They were rappers. They liked music. They made music.
They designed
and architecture.
And honestly, art, bringing that high fashion element to like the street. I feel like they really are kind of the grandfathers of like street fashion and music and
absolutely
the merging of 100%. All of that, like that the culture.
Absolutely, 100%. Like I and that's what I do call Pharrell like the Godfather of streetwear. Like it's kind of like wow, like you see him and like you saw him in like 2002 like Terry Kennedy and all these black skateboarders and like DGK wear and like what I don't want to be like that.
I know.
And so that's like one of the things, like I don't limit myself at all. All facets at all times. Like if someone says, hey, I want you to background sing on this track, I'll be like like I have to
give me a second.
Okay, because I need girl. But I literally I'll be like, okay, I'll do that. Or like somebody will be like, oh, like can you model this for me for like a streetwear brand? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah. Like
where did that confidence come from? That you like don't limit yourself. You never stopped yourself.
I've always been that way. Have
your parents always encouraged that?
My mom, my mom was very like she's about structure. So if you don't have structure, she's like, what is happening?
I don't understand this.
Yeah, what is it? Because I was just talking to her about quitting my job to like pursue photography, and she's like, I wouldn't do that. And I'm like, you're right. And then she is, because I'm like, well, I still need money, girl. Like, I still need some cash.
Yeah.
But she's very built on structure. Whether it's my dad is like, do what you want,
follow your heart,
anything you want, but as long as you put 110% effort in it. Like I would always hear 110% the whole time. Like it would just be, so he was like 110% put the effort in there. Like if you want to do that, do that. So, my dad bought me, surprised me with a digital camera, just to like, shoot around. But like he also sent me a film camera that was like a SLR, like a film SLR, was like a advanced camera.
Okay.
And he was like, I see you doing this film stuff, and I just want to send you this film camera because you're gonna do great, and I see that this is great, and I see this is your passion. So here you go. And it was something that my sister used in photography class when she was in high school. So he literally was like, here you go, like this is this camera.
It's not being used. Here you go.
Exactly. And so he did that with the digital one. He bought it. He was like, okay, like here's a digital one. So, I know you do mostly film, but if you want some digital work to be done, here you go. So my dad really was, buying me a guitar, like always, like driving me to singing lessons. Always, he always 100%. So I had that medium where, my mom was like, go to school, have a job, and it's not, like I said, it's not a bad thing, because now she looks at my photography, she's like, I get it now.
Yeah. I think it's also when someone is very structured that way, it's coming from like the place of needing security.
Absolutely.
And it's good to have that too, because sometimes you can just be over your head and be like, all right, I'm giving up my job, I'm doing this full force, but not understanding that like you're broke now. Exactly. So that's awesome that you have that balance.
My mom has a good balance, because that's where I get my like hardworking spirit from. She literally, I've seen her, she got her master's when she was pregnant with my sister.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like,
go mama.
Yeah, and was walking the heels across the stage for like 7 months, like, hello.
Good for her.
Like, full face, like, just, I mean, my mom's glamorous, and that's where I get that from, because she's like, if I can look like this and have 3 kids and all this stuff and be pregnant, girl, you can do whatever you want to. And so that's what I got that feel from, seeing my mom, like experiencing my mom work so hard for us and then work so hard for herself. That's what I loved I love the most about my mom. She is so 100% sure of herself. Like that's how my sister got that. You know, she's like, I know what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. Exactly. And that's where I get that spirit from. Like, she's like, I'm getting my master's. She did it. You know, I'm going to do this. She did it. Like, it's like insane. Like, you know, she'll say one thing, and then in a year she'll have it. And I'm just like,
wow. And that's so important with raising children, especially now being an adult, and like seeing how the things that my parents instilled in me are like part of my day-to-day and like have gotten me where I am now. But just like the importance of like not just sitting your kids down and lecturing and saying like finish school whatever, but showing up and doing those things, you know, and being the example and laying that like,
because that's exactly what you remember. Like that's all that I remember,
because your mom was doing it.
You know, she wasn't just preaching it, she was doing it.
She definitely was not a preacher. She'll preach some things because she lived through it, and she'll tell me like, I have done this, I've been through this, like you don't want to do it, so go the other way if you need to, if you want to. If you don't, then okay, I told you, didn't say I warned you. And she'll just warn me about things, and sometimes I'll go to the other side and I'll be like, ooh mom, and she'll be like, I told you.
But you also have to learn yourself too. Some things you have to learn by
I'm a very hard learner. Like my sister says I'm a lessons learner. So I like learn through lessons. So as things happen to me, I'm like, ooh, I will not do that again.
I'm exactly the same. People will go through the same things and like give me the advice of don't do this, but I have to learn for myself. I'm going to make that mistake.
Well, it sticks with you then. It's like, I'm for sure not doing that. I'm going to choose something completely different.
At 28, I'm like, ooh, I will not. I look back, I'm like, ooh, why did I do that? Like, ooh, I would have not ever done that.
Isn't that? I feel like that's because I'm 28 too, and I feel like this year really has been the year that I'm like, I can look back and say that, and you know, that shit does not work out.
It's kind of awesome.
It is.
It really is. It's just kind of like a wow, like you know, very big self-realization, realization of like friends and everything. It's kind of like, ooh, okay, you know, you are not like my type of friend right now.
No, for real. Like Gabby and I have been saying this for a while, because I feel like 2019 was like the worst year of my life, but also the best year of my life.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if it's because I'm turning 28 this year, so I'm like, is it that
like your
transition that I'm going into now, going into my 30s, and so I'm preparing myself, or is it just really just been this year that I've had this realization?
Saturn return
it's something.
It is something.
Because I'm feeling it, a lot of the energy, and you know, it'll get better. But like, you know, I'm feeling the energy, and I read like my Saturn return what I'm expecting, because I'm like, oh, I don't want to. And so they're saying like, your friends, your social life is gonna be a little shaken, but just stay on the right path and do what you're supposed to do. Right. And I think Saturn returns, I think people view them as terrible things, and I don't view them as that. And then bad things don't happen. It's just lessons.
And shifting your perspective. I feel like if you're vigilant during it and you are aware of like these earthquaking moments that are happening in your life, and not allowing them to like rock you to the core, but like just riding the wave, and you can
learning from these experiences, not looking at it as a negative
absolutely
thing.
100%.
For sure. So like you've mentioned that you've battled with mental health and like depression and that kind of thing. Has that been a struggle throughout your life, or is that just something that you've like come to as an adult, or
both? Excuse me. Thought I was gonna burp. I just did a little bit.
We can beep it out.
Edit that out. So when I was a child, I was diagnosed with ADHD.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And they put me on Ritalin, and my parents didn't really like me on it. And they were like,
this is not working.
We're just going to medicate our child or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I went about my life, just taking precautions. My mom would take precautions like, okay, don't get overly excited about this. Like, just calm down. And, she would breathe with me and things like that. So, that kind of helped. But as a teenager, I developed very severe depression and and anxiety, and I used to have panic attacks like every single night. So my dad really was the one who was there with me. He would, sit in bed with me, or like I would go into my parents' room and he would hold my hand, and he'll be like half asleep, like half dead, like oh, okay, and like he'll hold my hand and he'll pray with me and things like that. So I did have that support. My mother, she was just kind of like, in shock, a little bit sometimes, and she'll just be like, wow, my child is really going through this. But she was also, supportive as well. My sister just didn't know what was going on. She was like, what?
Are you doing this for attention?
Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm the baby. You're not supposed to have attention. But like, it was funny because, I definitely, dealt with, depression, anxiety as a teenager and a child, and then folding over into adulthood. Yes, absolutely. Especially coming from the military, I think it made it a little worse. Yeah. And I just had to take, special care of it like it's my child. Like, your inner child and things like that. You take care of that. So, yeah, definitely.
So what are some practices that you have in your daily routine? Because I suffer from anxiety and depression. And depression as well. So what are some things that you do when you see it peeking through?
Girl, weed is your... I'm kidding. Weed is your best friend one. But no, also I try to, breathe. I try to just be like, okay, one of my daily routines always is to just sit and think for 5 minutes, what are you going to do today?
Yeah.
And it's not even what, physically, what are you going to do? What are you going to do today? Mentally, what are you going to do? Yeah. Because if this happens, what are you going to do?
Of course.
You can't just wallow in this, whatever. And not so as depression is a wallowing. It's not. You're not gonna let depression beat you. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of affirmations.
Yes.
A lot of affirmations. Yeah. I've been saying 1111 a lot. A lot.
It's an angel number.
Mm-hmm. I know. I love looking up angel numbers and being like, ooh, okay. I'm excited about that. Seeing that. And so when I see 1111, when I see, if I see 1111, I manifest. I speak out loud what I want and everything. But I do affirmations throughout the day. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm okay. I'm okay right now. Or I'm not okay. I have to acknowledge. You have to feel. And a really big part of, my healing of my, mental health and things like that is definitely just repeating to yourself, the affirmations and everything. It's just so important. And I think that just taking time and feeling your feelings, and that's another thing, feel that. Just feel it. So I've gone my life sometimes just not feeling things because of, how it makes somebody else feel. Or I go about things okay, I won't say that thing, or I won't feel that because I don't want to feel it so much that I have something to say. Yeah. And so I've stopped doing that. I put that barrier down and I just feel it. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes to me, I feel it. Yeah. And I think that's a really big advice that I give to people. Just feel the emotions, because I'm still going through it. So the advice, I'm like, ooh, I literally am just I'm feeling it. I just feel the emotion, and sometimes it sucks. It's ooh, I'm sad right now. Yeah. And I'm just
and sometimes you really don't know why you're having this anxiety attack or these depressive thoughts. But I feel when you stop looking at it as I suffer from this and more this is what I deal with, but I'm going to minimize it in my life and not make it this whole big thing where it ruins my day or my weeks.
I think that happens when you try to suppress, right? When you try to run away from it and try to push it away, it's gonna get bigger. It's because you're not addressing it. So it's it's only gonna grow and get scarier and scarier. But I heard once that physically in our bodies, emotions, it takes about 90 seconds for them to travel through. So if you just if you feel yourself getting upset or whatever, if you just let it wash over you. 90 seconds from now, you'll feel a little clearer. It might not
or
fully,
redirect that emotion.
Redirect it, exactly. But if you just let it come through, feel it, sit with it, and then ask questions, that's what I've been doing or tried to do, especially with like inner child work and like looking at your shadow and stuff. Ask questions like, I feel depressed, I feel like I'm not shit right now, I feel unworthy. Why?
Where's this coming from?
Exactly. Absolutely.
And then keep investigating because you're gonna get answers.
Exactly. Tell that 90 seconds. I wish you would have told that 90 seconds thing before I went off on social. No, I'm kidding. Sometimes I can't do the 90 seconds, and I'm like, gotta text that person, gotta call, like, what's your issue or what's going on? Even like with
like keep it real with me. Yeah, like, what are you saying
like,
here?
What's up? Like or like if I'll call a friend and be like, okay, so I'm feeling this way. Like, am I? And I call close friends. I don't, or my sister. Like, me and my sister are very, very close. Like, I'm like, hey, and I call him like, hey, am I?
Am I tripping right now?
Like, am I tripping right now? Like, blah, blah, blah. And she'll tell me, girl, yes, or no, you're not.
Yeah, you have every right to feel that way.
Exactly. And so, it's great having like a validation system sometimes.
Right. Yeah, that sounds
especially with close friends, not like seeking validation from everyone. Like with close friends, are like, you're good. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah. You said that you were in therapy. Like, did you go through a process trying to find the right therapy and like the right therapist for you? And like, how can you speak to that?
Absolutely. Talkspace.com. Really, and they're a little pricey. I will tell you guys, it's a little pricey, but it's actually cheaper than even going through my insurance to even get it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Because like I have really good insurance, but like the therapist I want, the practices that I want, it's like, oh, it's gonna be this, and I'm like, oh, girl, I'm not paying that.
Yeah.
And so Talkspace really makes it like really easy to like search for your therapist, know your therapist, and things like that. And so I searched through there, and then I did the independence of searching on my own after that, and I found like a black woman therapist, which that was extremely
important to you,
and yes, very important and imperative to my healing journey, because I mean, no offense to white people or anything, I just feel like I connect way better with the black woman, and they know what to say to me,
and they know where those feelings are coming from.
Exactly.
And you don't. The thing about it with dealing when you are in situations when you have to deal with non-black people or white people, just those like microaggressions that like maybe they didn't mean to, but now I'm stuck and I'm tripping about it. Now I'm thinking about it.
Girl, guess what?
Exactly. So it's like we can avoid all of that if especially in therapy, because I don't want a certain look that you gave me about something that I said, and now it's like, are you
judging me now?
Exactly. Like, what are you trying to say?
Or you don't even get it.
You don't understand the context of it, for sure.
Exactly, 100%. She's amazing. Like, she has definitely been a crucial part of my healing process, and things like that. And it's just like, wow, like talking to her is like sometimes alleviating. Sometimes I'll just text her and be like, hey, like, oh my God, this happened, and I did this, and she'll be like, okay, first of all, you did that, and so own it.
Yes.
That's exactly what she tells me. She owns it, and my mom has told me that my whole entire life. Like, girl, you did that, own it. Yeah.
Isn't that crazy how you can hear your loved ones tell you something, and it
somebody else
it goes like, through one ear and the other. Yes. Like, where did you get this information from?
This is so new. Exactly. That's exactly how my mom hates it so much. She's just like, I told you that.
Yes.
So, like, what are you talking about? Like, she squints her eyes at me on FaceTime. It's funny. And so I like when she's, my mom has definitely told me, like, if you do, that's you need to own it.
You're doing. Yeah.
That's it. And so I was just like, wow, okay, well, whatever. And so then I would just go about life not owning things and blaming other people. And then my therapist is like, you need to own up to what has happened, but you also stop blaming yourself. And I did a lot of that. I do a lot of that still to this day, a little blaming myself for everybody's actions. Like, I did this. No, this person did this because of me. Like, and it's my fault because they did that. Yeah. And it took me so long to recondition myself not to do that. Even to this day, I struggle really hard with it. But 5 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, even, like, I would just blame myself. I would just be like, it's it's my fault that happened, and it just really does something to your mental health. It,
of course,
brings it to like you're just at such a low self-esteem where it's like,
your worth.
The blaming game really gets you feeling like I shouldn't be here because I'm causing all of this ruckus, and that's where self-love plays a huge part. Like it's so important to love yourself.
Absolutely.
Well, I feel like once you do that, you start taking ownership for what's yours.
Yes.
Then you hold other people accountable for what's theirs, because it's like I'm doing my work. That doesn't belong to me. That is yours, honey.
Yes,
so please take care of that.
Yes.
You know?
Ooh, girl, that's not, and that's what I've had to do. And then and with that, I mean, especially this year, I've had to be like, no, you did that, and you're gonna own up to it. It's not my fault that you did it. And people have gotten mad at me. You know, people have gotten mad at me. Didn't want to be my friend anymore. Anything else like that. And I was like, you did that, and you did this to this person. I'm not gonna associate myself with that.
I don't fuck with you anymore.
Exactly. I don't fuck with you anymore. Exactly. Like, just leave me alone. And people get mad. Like they do, and they just start, getting, irrational. It's just like, you have no self-accountability. Be accountable for what you did, and
if you're upset, this is a you problem, not a me problem.
It's not my problem.
No. And you have the right to set those boundaries and have those boundaries around you.
Absolutely. People get mad when you set that boundaries.
They do.
And it's just kind of like, okay, well, because they can't have access to you of what they used to have. And that's, my grandmother told me that, and she was like, people, you have to set boundaries, and people are going to get upset. You're going to lose friends because people don't have that access to you that they used to have. And people don't have what the you that they, they used to have. And so they spin the old you around and around and around for other people and play this game.
Right.
And, when there's a whole nother new you.
I don't know where that sound came from.
Okay, so we live in a time where,
you need to hide.
Mass shootings and, white people coming to protect.
I know.
Movie theaters. We don't need that.
So you had mentioned that the whole photography thing came about from depression. And it's beautiful to me because a lot of people look at depression as this negative thing that happens to you, but once you pass that moment, it's like, look what I've created from this.
Oh, absolutely.
So pain brings creativity a lot of times.
Absolutely.
And I think it's amazing, and I feel like you should definitely share your little story about how your film photography started, because both of us, Gabby and I, after we got off that phone call, I was like, I would have never guessed, because I would have thought this is what you've been doing your whole life.
Really? Yeah. And that's funny. I get that compliment. I'm not even trying to toot my horn, but I get that compliment a lot, and I get every time I get it.
Own that, girl.
Every time I get it, I'm like, really?
And honestly, be proud of it, because nobody really shares that side. And it's nice to hear women share the aspect of, I didn't go to school for this.
Yes.
And this was my calling a little later in my life.
Yeah.
And I did things that were totally different from this lane of work. And so you went to Goodwill.
So
what?
I had kind of some bad things happen, last year, and I just was extremely just blaming myself and just hard on myself about it. I was crying every day, and even contemplating suicide, even, and being like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore, and it was just a lot of pain that I had, and I was just like, you know what? So I just I studied film, not really studied it, but I follow a lot of film photographers on Instagram already, because I just love their work they did with high fashion, because I'm really into high fashion editorial things and Vogue and Harper's Bazaar, W.
It shows
in your work. Every time I see your stuff, I'm like, this is high fashion quality.
Thank you so. Oh my gosh, Vogue, if you're hearing me.
Honestly,
no. But thank you so much. That's what I strive for, is high fashion and editorial, because that's what I want to do. But I went to Goodwill, and I said, I'm just going to get a film camera and just shoot around. I'm not going to take nothing seriously. I don't care. This is just something to release my stress, because I was in the house all the time. I didn't really do anything. I just, really didn't hang out with people. I just, would watch Netflix and whatever.
And that's depression. That's the part that nobody talks about. The whole, I'm depressed, I don't feel like doing anything. if you haven't really experienced depression, do not use that, because when you go through it,
it's, you know it, and you know it,
girl.
And
like you literally cannot get yourself out of bed.
I did that like all summer, like, and sometimes, and this is gonna be TMI, but sometimes I wouldn't take a shower for 2-3 days, and I would just be like, whatever, like, you know, and you know, my sister would be like, "Are you serious?" Like, she'd just be like, "What?" And I'm like, you know, that's how depression. You don't get out of bed, like you said, like you don't, and that's how I was for about the majority of 2018. I would go to work, be in bed, like, you know, go to the gym, and I would work and I was extremely small in 2018. Like, I would just work out because that was the only thing that was getting me through my depression. And when I hurt myself, you know, I got even more depressed because, like, I can't even work out. And I was just so depressed, and I gained the weight back, and I was just eating and smoking extreme amounts of weed. Even though weed is great, guys, you just can't smoke it a lot. Don't smoke it a lot. Definitely abuse it. And wine too. I mean, even alcohol, I would just I would just drink a whole bottle of wine a day. Like, it was just really bad for me. And so I was just like, you know, I was scrolling through Instagram, and I don't know whose account. It was like a regular film account, just like one of those film accounts that feature people. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. And it was like, this is on film? What? And I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just, you know, whatever. So no shower and all. I got like my parka and everything. It was like, actually it was October of last year. I went to Goodwill, and that was like my anniversary, I guess, of last month. But I went to Goodwill. I got a film camera, and I got cheap film, and that was it. And I started just shooting weird things like the road, like, you know, trees. I'm like, oh, this is such a pretty, whatever. And now I think of it now, like I see it now, I want to gag, because I'm like, ew, like my first photos are just disgusting. But at the same time, it makes me kind of bring tears to my eyes, because I'm like, wow, like this is where
look
I started.
how far I've
come. Start somewhere.
Exactly. And I didn't even think I was going to start,
like
for real. Like how this is.
That is it.
And I was just like, oh, you know, I'll just shoot this. Okay, I'll shoot that. I'll go to my friend's thing and shoot, you know, whatever, and be cute or whatever else like that. And, you know, it's just as wild, like how now, like I look back on my life and I'm like, wow, a year ago I started off like just, you know, I'm still depressed. But, you know, it's just, you know.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress for sure. But it's definitely rewarding, you know, looking back. It's definitely a confidence booster, because I'm like, wow. You know, where was my mindset then, and look at my mindset now.
Absolutely. And how did you like take those steps, because you weren't like connecting with people or anything? How did you take those steps from like filming, like shooting on your own, and now like wanting to incorporate people and like meeting and collaborating with people? How did that happen?
I mean, I've always been really bubbly, and so like, and like outgoing. So like, I think like when I got into a crowd, I just put a mask on and I was like, oh yeah. But now, I mean, like, you know, I just, it's now like really crazy, because I'm like, oh wow, like people like, oh, you're Lex Nicole. I'm like, yes. That's me. Me. Right? I'm like looking behind me, and I'm like, but I mean, that doesn't happen too often. But you know, it's like kind of crazy that people that like, oh, like you shot my brother, or you shot my, you know, my friend, and I love your, you know, work, and I'm like, oh, okay. Like people DM me,
people are resonating with it.
Exactly, and like you know, they see their, you know, friends posts and things like that, and I get DMs sometimes. They're like, hey, oh my God, like, I know you don't know me, but I really love your stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. Like, you know, so like coming from that, like, you know, I had a couple friends in the community, in the creative community already. And, you know, I was like, oh yeah, I just started filming. And they saw my film photography, actually, because I created an account for it on Instagram. And so then I just started tagging my stuff on my main Instagram, and they were like, oh my God, like your stuff is cool. Like, come to this. And so then I just started networking from there. Like I went to this thing called Street Meet, which I run now. So like, you know, I'm like, it's crazy that now, you know, I was invited to it a year ago, and now, you know, in this day and age, I'm part of 3 team members to run Street Meet. And so
so for our listeners, what is Street Meet?
Oh my gosh, guys, Street Meet is for models, photographers, you know, creatives in general to come together and just create content together. You know, you know, and we don't look at it just like, oh, get a free photo shoot, or oh, get like, you know, models that you would have to pay to, you know, whatever to shoot. You know, like, you know, come and shoot, come mingle, come network with creatives, and that's exactly what it is. And we're just remodeling it and rebuilding it right now, but it's really just such a dope excuse me, a dope process and a dope meetup for creatives. And I encourage everybody to go and like, you know, see the environment and see how people mingle together. And, you know, half my, you know, followers, I think, came from Street Meet, honestly, you know, because like, you know, people would be like, oh my God, like, I just wanted to follow you, but I didn't want to like, you know, come up and talk to you. And I'm like, oh girl, hey. And I'll just give them a hug and I'll be like, oh my God, like, it's so nice to meet you, you know? So it's pretty dope. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome.
I definitely just had to get out there and just, you know, and, you know, they invited me to a couple events before and I was like, I'm not going.
And they do this all around the United States.
Yeah,
right?
they have one in DC, they have one in Vegas, they have one in LA. I think Oklahoma just started.
Oh, that's so dope.
Really cool.
I think somebody's gonna start Arizona soon. So it's like, it's
and in places that like aren't but necessarily known for being creative hubs or whatever. So that's really dope.
Yes.
Like trying to get, because I mean, that's one of the things that started. Seattle is definitely a creative market, but it's just kind of hard to like tap into it if you're not in that scene.
Yes,
you know
exactly. And I wasn't really in that scene. I just like knew like a friend of mine. He's a creative now. Shout out to Fuego. He's a creative now. He served with me in the military. On the same boat.
I've seen his work on Instagram. It's
beautiful
dope.
dope
wow,
work. And he was just like, hey, just come out. And then this other guy, his name's Christian, shout out to Pluroko. He definitely put me on the map as well, like with the whole, you know, creative community. And not saying like, oh, he's the reason. He just, you know, was like, hey, you know, come to this meetup. He definitely, I used to work with him at Nordstrom. And he quit his job to go do creative content for weed company, but now it's like not a company, but just weed content and things like that, articles. I think it's called WikiLeaf, but he does creative content for them now still. And he left Nordstrom to do that, and then I left Nordstrom to go to Amazon, and then we just continued our lives. Like we didn't even follow each other on Instagram, and then I didn't even know about this community until him and Fuego were like, hey, like we see your film stuff, it's dope. Come to this meetup.
Come check this out.
And like they did it twice, and I flaked, and I was like, like, and then, you know, and then like I went to, you know, one of Fuego, he has a pop-up, he used to have pop-ups, like, you know, a theme, and, you know, we go shoot all around the city. And then Christian was like, come to Street Meet or whatever. And so I came to Street, I went to Street Meet, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. And then I just started going to him, and that's like, you know, how, you know, everything started blossoming from there.
Yeah, that's so fast forward, now you're like
doing your thing.
I just be going through the motions sometimes.
So when you started, did you just reach out to people from Instagram and be like, hey, like, you want to shoot?
Actually, I met this girl, her name was Blair. She was my first like serious photo shoot. Like I styled, did everything. I had clothes with me. I literally went to Goodwill and got her size and stuff.
Good for you.
And I was like, I'm styling, I'm a creative director. And we shot at a car wash. And you know, I reached out to her. She's like, oh my God, of course. Like, I never shot on film before. And a lot of these models have never shot on film before. So they were like, oh yeah, like, you're a film photographer? I want it. And I'm just like, okay. So that's exactly how I like started like getting clientele and things like that. I would DM them and I'll be like, hey, I'm a film photographer, and you know, I would just be so super shy about it because I was just like, I don't want them to be like, no, or it's a $150 deposit and all this, you know, all these things, and I'm just like, okay, well, have a good day. So that's exactly how I like just naturally started like asking people, because you gotta like sometimes get over your fear, and my fear was just like, you know, reaching out to people because you know, my fear was no. You know, and so like rejection and things like that. And now I just do not care. I'm like, oh girl, okay, that's fine. And I'll go about my day. And so it's just like whatever. But now, like definitely back then, definitely was asking and DMing,
putting yourself out there.
And half of it now is
like every time we have a list of people we're constantly going back and forth with, and it comes down to really like that self-doubt that gets you, and it's like, oh, what if they say no? But at the same time, we're like, I was saying to Gabby earlier, I was like, nobody has said no to us. Like so far nobody has said no to us, and it really comes down to how confident are you with your work. Because if you're not confident with your work, who's gonna support that?
Absolutely. I 100% feel that. I really do. I 100% feel that. it's just a lot, you know. It's just a lot. Like now, I'm like thinking, I'm like, wow, like, you know, I had like baby 400 followers like last year. Now it's like 2,000, and I'm like, okay, this is
it's
weird.
Growing.
It's growing. Yeah.
Did you know how special like film photography was when you started it? Or
yes, because I just had an appreciation for it. You know, I had a really, really big appreciation for film photography because it takes a lot of work, and I've like, you know, heard interviews from, you know, Amber Asali and, you know, who is one of my favorite film photographers, Renelle Madrano. I've like heard her, love her so much. Don't even talk about it.
I know. Again,
I was
this will be a whole episode
all day.
Honestly, like it's. I feel I don't know her clearly, but like I've just watched her since she was like in New York, like still lived at home, like posting pictures on Tumblr, and then like now she's doing like Tiffany campaigns and stuff.
Oh my god, the Tiffany campaign was
insane.
It's crazy.
I love every single one of her campaigns, like the Playboy Cardi for 032C, like every one of those. Solange.
I know.
Again, that's another one.
Solange is Gabby's girl. Oh my gosh,
I cannot so much.
I can't even talk. If I meet her, I feel like I will, and I love Beyonce so much. I went to her like on the run tour, like front row, and I like was in her. I was like, it's Beyonce. Oh my god. Yeah. But Solange is going to take me to a higher plane for me because I'm like, you do. Oh my god. Like I just go. I won't even like. And usually I'm just like, you know, I've met, you know, my fair share of like celebrities. I'm like, oh my god, how are you? Like, oh my gosh, whatever. But Solange or Pharrell, I'll just be like, I can't talk.
I can't talk.
Solange is such an inspiration to me because she's just unapologetic herself. Her and Rihanna are unapologetically themselves, and they're just very just like themselves, and they don't care. They don't.
And you feel that, like I feel like people respond to that. Like I feel like Rihanna and like Solange don't really have a lot of haters because
they're so real to who they are.
They are who they are. So either you fuck with me or you don't. Yeah. And that's like it is. There's no room to like hate on that.
Just like recently when Solange like had posted on Instagram like
her
how
divorce.
Her divorce
bullied her into.
Well, yeah, but if you think about it, it's like how often do people feel vulnerable enough to speak about their feelings for someone after it ends?
Yes.
Like we hear about how lovey-dovey it is while it's happening, but the feeling you feel after. Like to hear her say like those emotions she felt, you resonate with that.
He directed her When I Get Home. And I was like, what? I was like kind of like, but at the same time, I just didn't like how people were like jumping off that rumor, like, oh, she got a divorce, to the fact that she had to say something. It really upset me when like I was like, just let people live and live their life and let her process.
Because we all, I mean, like he hasn't been in the scope for a minute,
for a while.
So like, there's if you're a reasonable person, you can just let people live. Like they're going through something clearly,
and just because they live in the spotlight doesn't mean you need to know everything. Let them live their lives.
Absolutely. Yes.
So who else? Like how do you get inspiration outside of like following other film photographers and stuff? Are there any other industries and like any other genres that you look to for inspiration? Music,
like album covers. I really love album covers. Like I just, studied like Nirvana's album cover for, y'all gonna kill me for not knowing the iconic album cover, but yes, that one with the baby like floating. I love that one. And I listen to Nirvana a lot, so I'm like, I'm beating myself. I'm like, I know that. Definitely NERD's album covers. A lot of like the clips and Pusha T, their album covers. A lot of Kanye album covers. Those do inspire me because it's artwork. I love art, like paintings, like George Kondo. I love Murakami. He's like all-time fave, all-time fave. I also, love the, Picasso's, the Da Vinci's. I like a lot of Da Vinci's like work that he does not. I mean, he has it out, but like displayed, but.
What he's not known for.
It's not known for, exactly. I love looking at those type of things that Michelangelo's not known for a lot. A lot of the artwork that people are inspired by. So I am very inspired by artwork as well. Magazines, Vogue in general, also like Essence magazine, Crown magazine. Shout out to my guys. I love them. They posted me. When they posted one of my pictures.
Shout out Lindsay Day.
Shout out to you, girl. Thank you. Yes, I love Crown Mag. I literally, when they posted one of my pictures, I cried. I was like, I was like, Crown Mag.
Serious goals,
Oh my god. And so, like, you know, those magazines, like, editorial-wise, I have Vogue magazines dating back from the 90s. Because I just literally, and I buy them from eBay. Like, or I'll go to Barnes & Nobles and get, like, Playground, or I'll get, like, ID magazine, like, all the weird ones, Roller Coaster magazine, like, all of those magazines, and I'll just study them and look at okay, what inspires me, and I'll, like, grab the clipping from the magazine, scan it, and putting in, like, mood boards. I have, like, 1,000 mood boards, and I just get inspired by a lot. And I like to write things down. Especially, you just really need to write things down. Like, if you want to do something, write it down. And you know,
that's how you remember too.
Yes, exactly, exactly how you remember. And you know, Erykah Badu says write it in pencil, but you know, I'm like, I don't have no pencil around.
I got no pencil around.
You know, I'm gonna write it with this pen. But like, even so, like, writing it down and manifest and let it come to life. It's like,
well, because then it's yours. I feel like I have a strong belief that like ideas are just in the collective, you know what I mean? And either they come to you, and if they do, and you write it down, or you are able to act on it, then it's yours. But if not, it's gonna just float out, and someone else is gonna grab it.
Yeah, exactly how I feel. Exactly. I just like, a lot of inspiration does come from music. A lot of my inspiration comes from everywhere. Just even driving down like wherever street, like even in the CD, like I'll drive and I'll be like, I'm gonna do a shoot there. And it just inspire me, and like even seeing like the CD. I love the CD. I love the hood, like you know, because you know part of where I grew up was that, and then you know my part of where my mom and dad grew up. You know, my mom and dad grew up in the hood, so it was like, you know, I just love that nostalgia, and I just love pairing that with editorial looks, like, you know, pairing a huge tulle dress like that floats all the way down the street at your local convenience store that sells fried chicken, and you know, drinking a 40. I love that. I love it.
It's bringing high fashion to the street.
I love the avant-garde anything. Anything. Yes.
That is so dope. Who else do you look to for inspiration, like, right now? Like even art, like music or painters or whatever.
So Solange, yes. Still my, you know, Solange and Pharrell, obviously. Renelle, obviously. I love I really like Kylie Jenner's style, and I know people like I just you're like, Kylie Jenner.
Controversy.
Yeah, they're like, ew, but like I really like her style, like how she, you know, dresses in clothes. Sometimes that, you know, I style my models like in similar outfits that she had, because I just like it, and I'll just place them in somewhere, like in another setting or whatever. I just really love I love to follow hypebeast a lot. And even though I hate that word because I've been a sneakerhead, like it's like, for like OG sneakerheads, it's like no one's a hypebeast over here, girl. Like, you know, we've been about it, but like, you know, it's just so funny when you're like, oh, you're a hypebeast.
I know. I'm like, no, I wasn't.
Girl, I'm 28. I'm not hypebeast, girl. I've been doing this since '99. So definitely hypebeast. I love the fader. Like that's who I do look to. Yeah, the fader is.
Documentaries on YouTube are really dope.
Amazing. Also, music videos. Like, I mean, Karina Evans right now inspires me the most. Like, she's just like, I mean, filmmaking wise, like, she's just this young filmmaker out here, and she's just doing movies. She did Nice for What for Drake, and like just did SZA's Garden, like, and it's just so beautiful. And I'm like, wow, like you just figure out she's 24. I'm like, what? Like, you know, what the heck? How are you doing this? But she's just amazing. I love her. I love Tracee Ellis Ross. Like, like everything about her. I like, like I just internalized, because she, like, you know, I don't know what, I'm gonna search it on my phone, because she had something that just resonated with me, and I think I pinned it on my my Instagram. What is it called? Oh my gosh, guys! Sorry for the dead space.
You're good. Have you tried her hair products?
Yes, I love.
Do you do?
Yes.
I haven't tried it yet.
I haven't tried it yet, but I've heard really good reviews of her hair products.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they're amazing. She has stuff for like when it's like, when your hair is like loosely curled, kind of like yours, and I have like a little bit of loose and tight curls, like, you know, and I just be like, okay, and I just use the heavy because I'm like a thick hair, so I'm just like, I need to use like a lot of stuff.
All the moisture.
Yes, I mean, it's like doing that. But Tracee Ellis Ross said, "My life is mine," and she did a TED talk about it. And I encourage everyone to literally listen to that and internalize that.
Yes.
So like, in depth because it literally is like, wow, when she went through the speech of like, my life is mine.
Yeah.
If I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. Like, it was just so plain text, black and white. And I was like, wow, like, my life is mine. And she just inspires me as a whole, fashion, hair, everything. You know, photography. She did her whole L spread. She shot it on her iPhone.
Oh, what?
I was like, oh, photographer now? Great. Let's add that to the roster because I love you.
What?
She's like, yeah, just edited it. And just shot on my iPhone. And I was like, casual talent flex or whatever. So
she's brilliant.
Yes, exactly. Brilliant. The embodiment of Tracy Ellis Ross, like really just, I love her. I love Yara Shahidi, Lupita. I love Lupita to my core because she's just like funny, and then she's also like donate to the hurricane. I'm like, yes, me too. I'm like, oh, I have fun, but seriously,
exactly, yes. And she can wear literally any color. Any color.
I just love her.
It's incredible.
Yes, Angela Bassett too, because she's a Leo.
Yes. I mean, arms. Hello.
I mean, 60, looking like that.
Yeah.
Hello. I love it.
Smash.
Yes, Naomi Campbell too inspires. It's been inspiration.
I love Naomi. I
just love her bluntness.
Yes, because there's, I don't know, like just be yourself. She's another one that's like unapologetically herself.
For real.
Yeah. And it's like you can hate it, you can love it, but I'm still that bitch.
Yeah, I'm still gonna wipe down my airplane seats. When the white lady was like, "Can you wipe mine down?" She said, "I knew she took that breath," because I was like, "Girl, Naomi, don't do it to her, girl. Like, don't do it." She's
like, "If this was 5 years ago, honey,
I would have whooped." Like, she was like, "I will not do it for you, but I will show you." I said, "Ooh, that's such a good answer."
Gross.
Yes.
Gross. Because she would have definitely cussed her out 5 years ago. Like,
that's
oh my
God. I love it.
So how do you deal with the industry like pressures of constantly having to be creative, especially when you're exposing yourself on like social media, like Instagram and stuff?
Oh, so it's something that I'm dealing with now, so it's great. Like, you guys are asking me about it, and like a year from now I can listen back and be like, yeah. But like, the industry pressures are, it's kind of overwhelming sometimes, where it's just kind of like, wow, like, geez, okay, you push me to be creative every time, but luckily I'm naturally wanting to be creative, and I'm naturally wanting to do stuff. Like, I want to naturally go and shoot.
So you're able to find the content that you need to constantly stay up to date.
Exactly. And so sometimes I just am like, I don't want to do this, or sometimes I'm just like, okay, this is overwhelming. I need to take a break or something like that. But yeah, definitely I've always been, but once I get out of those grooves, I'm like, I'm back working again. And I never ever have been like, never stopped. Because like I would always have content, so people always would think I'm working. Even if I took a 2-week break, I would still have content and things like that. So, but definitely dealing with the pressures is very overwhelming. It's very like kind of stressful because it's like you have people that where you think you're friends with everybody at first, and then when you get in the industry, you're like, I'm going to be like that person that everybody fucks with, everybody loves, and stuff like that. And then there's people that just don't. You do something, you say something, the truth, or you think you can say something, and they flip out, or they get, upset at you, or they start lying about you and things like that. And then that's when it gets overwhelming, because it's like, okay, like I didn't expect like people to react like that. Yeah. And so, definitely dealing with them is overwhelming, but I'm learning now to like, instead of like outbursting on social media or just being like, well, F it, I'm just gonna quit. I'm learning to feel those emotions and being like, okay, like if they're making me feel like this, I need to be far away from them as possible. I just don't need to be in that person's space. They don't need to be in my space anymore, because
I don't need to entertain this anymore.
Exactly. Like, this doesn't need to be a thing. And some people do get mad at that a lot. People do get mad at that, and you do lose friends that way. And, I guess, and then we were talking about setting boundaries. It's definitely setting boundaries. Right. And, and that's overwhelming in itself, because it's like, okay, I love this person, and geez, like I wish that me and this person didn't, fall out, or I wish me and this person would have figured it out. But now it's like, I mean, I have to set this boundary, and I'm sorry, like, So it's just definitely an overwhelming process, but I'm getting through it, not very slowly, but a little bit surely.
Which is fine. How do you set, like, do you have any practices to help you set those boundaries? Like, do you journal or like meditate or whatever to get yourself like you know, like to put yourself at number one, like I'm taking care of myself, this is how I'm doing it, and then like being able to respond out of that place.
Yeah, my love language is affirmations and assurance. So I definitely like do call, like I said, my close friends and ask like and be like, hey, like what do I do about this? Like I'm feeling this, but usually I talk to, like, it sounds so crazy, but I like talk to myself, and I'm like, and I literally am typing in the notes app like, today I did this, blah blah blah, this happened, you know, and I'm gonna do this. Or I do voice memos. Like I'll just talk to myself through voice memos. I'll have like an hour of voice memos, like, and just conversation of myself, and saying like, hey, like everything's gonna be okay. And in the end,
and it's nice to hear from yourself.
Yes, like yes, exactly. From other people, it's like, okay, you're saying this, sad. Like, you know, whatever. But now from yourself, it's like, you know what you feel, and you know what you're feeling, so you know, act accordingly, basically, you know, and so it's just like, wow. So definitely, talking to myself and giving myself assurance, and also like, you know, like I said, very close friends, even like not even, as of recently, I haven't been doing that. I've been just reaching out to my sister and like being like, hey, like this is, you know, this is happening, what's going on, like, you know, this is how I'm feeling, with my true feelings. Like, of course my friends are like, when I'm angry, of course we're gonna talk and whatever, but with my sister, I like share out my true feelings. Like, I feel bad for this, like I feel
you can be more vulnerable, like
exactly. I'm like, I feel bad for doing this, I feel terrible for doing I feel happy for doing this, like I should have done that earlier, or things like that, because like if you show that vulnerability, especially on social media, people are like, oh, you're flip-flopping, oh, you're this, oh, well, you were just cussing this person out, now you feel bad about it. Like, it's just like, oh, you can't be human.
There's no exactly, there's no room for growth, no room for evolution, or like learning on the internet. It's like you got to show up like and be perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, because like, everybody's watching you.
Exactly. It's a little overwhelming, but at the same time, I'm just like, okay, great. Like, let me talk to myself. If I talk to myself, I'm like, all right, you know, great. I'm gonna go through this, and I'm gonna ignore it, or you know, I'm gonna process it, and that's gonna be that. So
it's been over a year now of the photography. So congratulations, because I'm sure you didn't picture it to grow this big.
I'm like, what? Every day.
Like I was saying to Gabby before, I was like, Lex is the plug. Like she's the plug in Seattle, y'all. Like you need to get with her.
You know everyone.
You know everybody, girl.
That is literally everything. I'm like, yo, you know everybody. I'm like, I try not to know everybody, like, oh, but I do.
Yeah. So that's amazing.
Thank you.
How does it feel to see like people that you've shot, like Paris Alexa? I'm a big fan. I'm her number one fan.
She's great.
So like seeing people like her like explode now, and like she's definitely someone I keep telling everybody to look out for.
Absolutely.
Seeing them succeed now, and you've been able to be in that process, like how does that feel, like knowing that you were in there, and in that moment when you started photography, you were in like such a dark place?
Absolutely. It feels, it's like shocking, but like me and Paris's relationship is organic, and so literally it's like, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, like, you know, but when I see her like doing things like, you know, going to LA to songwriter, you know, she just had a song session with like Brent Fayez and things like that. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, oh, like, I'm like, that's not for y'all, like, you know, it's kind of like that, but like at the same time, it's like, it doesn't, like when me and her together, it doesn't feel like, oh my god, you're Paris Alexa.
Right.
It literally feels like we're regular people.
Yeah,
you know,
that's my girl. She's doing her thing, and I'm watching her prosper.
Absolutely,
from it.
100%. Yes,
that's amazing. So, what are some like projects that you're working on now that we should be on the lookout for?
So, shout out to Walter Wang. I just shot with him yesterday. He's signed model. He does runway. He just came back from like Europe from doing runway.
Oh wow!
And I literally was just like, hey, like, you want to shoot? And he's like, oh my god, I love your work. Yes. I was like, what? Sure. Okay. Cool. So I just did a project with him. Street Meet Washington. Please, watch out for, you know, me and Fuego and Ash. We're just going to be creating.
Where can we find anything on Street Meet?
Absolutely, at Street Meet Washington. So at Street Meet WA. So just Street Meet WA. Yes, and you see our content. We feature a lot of Seattle photographers, Seattle models. We try to like work well within our community. But Street Meet, yes, at Street Meet WA. I'm definitely going going to be, look out for, meetups. We're restarting that process of meetups. We're going to have one in November this month.
Oh, dope.
So we're so excited.
Yeah, we'll
I'm so
definitely
upset
be
that I
there.
won't be there because I'm out of town at home.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, okay, like I'm great. I'm grateful to be a part of this process. What other projects do I have? Oh, I have a clothing line coming out called 91. Yeah. I've been working on that for a year and a half. Even what I want to do, like I'm like, so I'm releasing that in 2020.
Dope.
The process is insane. Like you would think it's easy, like to put a screen print, blah blah, but you have to feel the material. You have to pay for the stuff. It's like sometimes it's like, oh god, I gotta pay like $500 to get these hoodies and things like that. Yeah. But I love the process. The process is beautiful, and look out for that 91. Not the one is in the eye, so it's like and one, whatever 91. I'm just like, I don't know how to explain it. The logo, but I have that coming out. I have a few more artsy projects coming out, editorial projects that you guys could be on the look for. Definitely shooting more editorial now, and also after this, I'm going on a shoot right now. So I'll be shooting more editorial, and then I'm done. I have a meeting after that, then I'm done.
That's so fun.
Lex is booked and busy for real.
Sometimes.
That's awesome. But thank you so much for being coming out to the studio.
Yeah, so vulnerable too.
Just being yourself.
Absolutely.
Like that's our main mission at Girl Don't Trip, is getting women to be themselves.
Absolutely.
And
100%.
showcase their work and have our audience to feel like, I'm just like that.
Like
relate. Let's be relatable.
You guys can do it too, for sure. Like anybody out there that's feeling, depressed right now, feeling like there's no other option, things like that. Look within your inner self, and just go out there and do something. Like whatever it is, you don't have to be good at it or anything. Just do it, and just get yourself out of that funk. Everything's gonna be okay. So that's my message to anybody that's listening to this and feeling it right now.
We love it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So before we go, where can our listeners follow you?
You can follow me. I just have an Instagram right now. So you can follow me at Lex, Lex, __ Nicole. So that's Nikol on Instagram. And I don't have a Facebook or a Twitter. So I'm like, I'm like, I don't know. So if I have a Twitter, I definitely will drop it. But yes, you guys can follow me at Lex Nicole on Instagram. Check out my work, and at Lex in Film. That's just my other film page, secondary film page. You can view my other projects from there as well. So
perfect.
Please do.
Her stuff is dope. She's definitely someone to keep an eye for because
thank you guys.
She's out here doing it, really. Yeah. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.